gentlemen, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much for joining me, Duke CT. And man, what an interesting week where everything else has happened in the world and what have you, you know. But well, well, first off, we gotta talk about the huge, I was gonna talk about this. I don't know if I was gonna talk about this now, but I'm gonna put my 2 cents out there. The new Thor and Captain America designs, the new look for them. As if you heard that Steve Rogers is retiring for Captain America again to bring in um, the Falcon, Sam Wilson. And I know a lot of people were pissed off, like, oh my God, what happened, that sort of thing. Oh man, the Black Captain America is the end of the world. I'm like, not really. There always has been Black Captain America. There was always one. Um, in fact, there's been many Mac, you know, there is. In fact, there was one. Isaiah Bradley. In fact, he was from a 2003 limited series, Truth, Red, White, and Black, and supposedly there was another. He was affiliated with, with Project Rebirth, with the same people who did with Captain America. He was peak physical condition, slowed aging, slave in combat, the whole deal. Um, that sort of thing. And, he was this person who was was another person they trusted the Captain American serum on him, and he was one of the few people who survived. In fact, he was many of black soldiers they tested out. Um, you know, they were trying out since Captain America worked. They tried it out everyone. They tried it on black soldiers. This is in the story. Tried it out with black soldiers, and didn't work. Except this guy came along, and bam, there it is. It wasn't chosen or destined, which a lot of people seem to be doing nowadays, i.e., Spider-Man and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Destiny and all that stuff. Because God forbid you can't have a good narrative without destiny. Whatever. But he was one of the few survivors, and he did. In fact, he was supposedly they all were supposedly only 5 subjects survived the original trials, and they were secrecy. U.S. soldiers execute the camp commander, and hundreds of black soldiers left behind at at the camp they were doing this, Camp Cathcart. Government tells their families of the 300 subjects their loved ones died in battle. And due to film missions in Europe and internal strikes, Isaiah Bradley emerges the sole survivor of his test group. He steals a spare costume and shield returned for Captain America before he engages in a suicide mission to destroy the super soldiers' efforts of the Nazis at the Schwarzenwald concentration camp. There, he was able to assassinate uh, Coach, but the mission ends with the Germans capture Bradley. Nazi interest in the American super soldier is high. He is even brought before the Fuhrer himself, who decides to dissect him in order to reverse engineer his powers and send the spare parts to America as a message. Bradley is later rescued by German insurgents, only to be court-martialed in a prison in Leavenworth around 1943. 1960, Bradley is pardoned by President Eisenhower and released, which is very interesting. Um, um, you know, there was, Isaac Riley. In fact, there, in fact, there's another one. In fact, he's the grand father of another hero of the Patriot. In fact, he is Eli Bradley. I think he's the grandfather of Elijah Bradley, Patriot of the Young Avengers. So this is not really a new thing in comic world. So but whole thing with Black Captain America, to me, it's not much of a big issue if you know the history and such, or just like myself, just looked at the Wikipedia, which I'll leave in the description for everyone. So, also, as for the female Thor, look, it's just a publicity stunt, which sadly it is. It's not some huge new thing. It's a publicity stunt, and sadly, I don't think this is gonna stick. Kind of like how Batman was supposed to die in Final Crisis, but he somehow back in a very interesting but a bit of a convoluted story. And Batman, Return of the Dark Knight, what have you. Uh, you know, you have Superman dying at Doomsday. He came back. Uh, you know, and so on and so forth. And you have Spider-Man, who supposedly taken over by Doc Ock, but somehow his soul came back, and you know, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, I don't think it's gonna be a major thing. Personally, I feel like it's a bit lazy too. I mean, I can get Sam Wilson because he's been built up for this role, and I think that because I actually do think the type of thing he's been built up for this role. But then again, I still think it was I mean, Bucky. I felt like he should have been the next Captain America and stuck with that as he died in Civil War, which should have been like a better narrative and such as the character's dead, but now he's moved on, that sort of thing. But hey, Sam Wilson, this is another chance for him. Besides, Cap's gonna be around. They'll somehow get you know, they'll somehow um they'll somehow do you know uh another reboot or something or Captain Rogers or something. Trust me, they will. Um, they'll do something. They'll bring him back. Trust me. As for Thor, they'll do the same thing. They'll bring him back and be a big hoopla. So I'm not really big. This is not the big news or anything else. So people, cool down, calm down. This isn't a march for political correctness or what have you. But some people might say it's a victory for people saying we finally get something. I will hold you cool your jets too. Again, it's a publicity stunt. Maybe I'm being too cynical. I don't know. Maybe my years of being a pro wrestling fan did that to me, but yeah. Anyway, speaking of professional wrestling, we got some news here, very big news about this, and about some WWE, about the WWE network, ladies and gentlemen. Is accordingly to Wrestling News Observer, the WWE has positioning a transponder on a C-band satellite, which is what cable networks use to send their signals. But for the WWE network, the network is on the same transponder with Bloomberg and Reels. Networks usually share transponders to share costs, but this means they are paying a significant amount of money to transfer the signal that would be normally used by cable and satellite companies, not countries, but companies. You know, one day maybe, I don't know. Anyway, used by cable and satellite companies to bring in a station. It opened a lot of speculations, but the W sources say it's not significant or anything. Yeah, it's not significant at all. Yeah, right. I mean, I feel honestly, it's just maybe just my radical speculation, and the links will be in the description right there as well, um, and everything as usual. But to me, in my personal opinion, it seems like Vince and the board of directors still want that cable TV option. They still think that they have the WWE network can still have that dream of actually having a cable network. Which honestly, they should have given up on that dream. As with the WWE network showed you what it is on the online platform, it would have tanked harder. I mean, really hard if it was on the regular regular traditional cable and satellite. I think it'll make things a lot more awkward because you have DirecTV not letting them do DirecTV and Dish not letting them do their pay-per-views anymore. I wonder how that would be. I don't know how the heck they would let people own the network or something, the traditional network. I just wonder that thing. That would be very interesting if you ask me how that's going to work, how that would work out. But also another thing that really um, is that it would be really much a huge bomb because the WWE is so niche, and and you look at the network, they stopped doing the pre-shows and post-shows. I mean, only pre-show they do is on pay-per-views now. They don't do pre-shows for Raw or SmackDown anymore. They cut the post-shows. In fact, they don't do any pay-per-view post-shows anymore. Um, that and Legends House is no more. You have these documentaries which are nice. I like the documentaries, on there. It's pretty nice. NXT when I catch it is fun. Main event is interesting, but I'm a wrestling fan. And all the backstory stuff. It's fun. It's exciting. It's great. But I'm gonna say this right now. I'm one of the few people who would buy it. I'm one of the few people myself that is one of those hardcore fans. I am one of the hardcore fans of the WWE. Someone that the WWE already has because I love the old school WCW. I love watching this old school stuff when WCW used to be good, and then watch it as it just goes completely and utterly insane. But but as much as I give props to the network, I think it's way ahead of its time because once again, I don't think it's going to last as long because a lot of people are not going to buy it. A lot of people, the only time the WWE really buys on the pay per view is WrestleMania, and that's it. I mean, you could say some buys for the Royal Rumble, but everything else is just really like 100,000 to maybe 90,000, 100,000. Nothing, barely maybe 200,000. No one gives a crap of their pay per views throughout the year. No one cares. It's out of the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, which sadly they did it to themselves, And I know they loaded up Battleground. Oh, they really loaded up Battleground, and I don't know if I'm gonna do a preview to that because, quite honestly, as big as that card is, and trust me, it's big. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a video on it. Maybe I'll do a preview video of Battleground if people want me to do that. Uh, I will do it. I'll do a preview thing. I'll do it probably on Saturday. I will do a preview up with Battlegrounds. That is what a good plan for me to do. And let's see what else. What else am I going to say about that? Let's see the WWE. Any more big WWE stuff here? Oh yeah. Besides the network and how it is. Um. Oh. Let's see. Well, Cesaro. But you know what? I'll talk about this when we come back, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk more about this stuff because it looks like they've been keeping cutting down there's some of the big stars and know trying to manage the heat, what have you, trying to cool people off, and one of the main ones is Cesaro. We'll talk about that more here on the Dukect Lounge live on TalkShoe.com. And you can hear this stuff on YouTube, ScrewAttack.com, That Guy with the Glasses forums. Let's see, Rise of the Critics, Zipcast, and everywhere else that they let me do to put this video up on. So, yeah, anywhere and everywhere. So, for the most part, sit back, relax, and we're here, listen live here on the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much for listening to me, Dukect. We'll be right back right after this. And we are back live here on the Dukect Lounge. Phone number, as always, ladies and gentlemen, is 724-444-7444. Once again, the phone number is 724-444-7444. And the call ID to connect to me, Duke CT, is 92417. Once again, the phone number is 92417. Now, let's talk about Cesaro. Cesaro, and after WrestleMania and that big battle royal, people said, man, you got that fast ticket, man. And he put with Paul Heyman. They're like, woo, man, this guy's going to be the next big thing. He's going to be awesome. And for a minute, you thought he was. But, as the injured bad news Barrett would say, all those Cesaro fans, I'm afraid I got some bad news. As according to the Wrestling Observer News, the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it says this: if you wonder why Cesaro has been kept as a heel and has cooled off so much, even with Heyman as a manager, it's been somewhat intentional. Obviously, there's no plan on on who was going to get pushed. Cesaro was slated to be on the verge of a major face push late this summer. The decision was made, and this was before Bryan went down, that Roman Reigns will be getting the big focus face push to top with Cena, Bryan, and Sheamus, who has cooled down greatly because that the way they booked their secondary champions almost inherently does so. As the key guys, Cesaro is slated for a face push, but no time soon. The idea is when we need it, which would likely be after the big push for Reigns, as already for establish him, and they need the next rising star. This is dangerous. Cesaro may have cooled off by this point, and really he already has. Yeah, this is the problem, people. The WWE just can't know how to. They put all their eggs in the wrong basket, the Roman Reigns basket, like they did with John Cena, and and Batista and Randy Orton. Those are the three young guys WWE pushed. For the most part, those were the three guys they pushed in the whole Ruthless Aggression era to be main eventers. Was Batista, Randy Orton, and Randy Orton, and John Cena. The other three guys was The Undertaker, Edge, and Triple H. And Edge, being injury prone, Triple H is being and Undertaker was longer too. Batista was longer too as well, but he was TV young and fresh. So he took his ball with home like 2010, and it's been just this Randy Orton, John Cena with a little CM Punk and a dash of Daniel Bryan, but it still is basically Cena's and Randy Orton's show. And sadly, it's not been going as according to plan like they thought would be, because let's be honest here, Randy Orton has not really been a major star, and the reason why is because of what the WWE has done to them. And and it's a damn shame. It is a damn shame. Um, guess two here. On Randy just left. Um, it's weird. Let's some weird chat thing here. Anyway, um, it's a it's the same. It's a thing. It's the same thing, people. It's the same daggone thing. Is that they can't really know how to manage stars. They used to manage many stars in the WWE. They used to manage a lot of stars, tons of stars. Let's see, back in the days, back. Uh, back in the day, you got, in the '80s, you had not only Hogan, you had Warrior, you had, Randy Savage, Randy Savage, you had Million Dollar Man, you had Andre, you had, heck, you had a lot of guys, but also you had guys like, say, Bad News Brown, you had Jake Snake Roberts, you had Roddy Piper, you had, King Kong. But you had a lot of guys who were main stars uh, at the time. You could always, rotate, and everything. That's what it was. They all had a chance to rotate. You know what I mean? They rotated the big stars. And now, back and then in the Attitude Era, heck, when TV and everything else, they have multiple stars. Multiple, like D'Lo Brown was big. You had the New Age Outlaws. You had Edge and Christian. You had Dudleys. You had all these other great talents around. They had great talents all around. They had a bench. They had those main stars, also pillars, with the next guys rising up. They had that. The WWE knew how to do that. Good wrestling companies have this. Guys that can fill in just in case things go wrong. And you can just say, okay, this guy's a pillar. We can just put him in here, and things like that can work off. Like say, hey, our main star is not going to do it so well. Here's another guy who just can keep the thing flowing. That is what the WWE is lacking. Is that they just don't know how to keep putting these stars and know how to rotate the stars. And Lord knows they need to be rotated. I mean, you can't just keep doing the same old thing over and over again because these guys, I mean, it just breeds a lot of to me in the locker. Like, what's the point of actually doing anything new to get yourself over and recognized by the crowd when you're just going to be completely and utterly just completely and utterly forgotten about. That's what's happening right now. The WWE is making everyone seem motionless and forgetting about. I mean, let's all be honest here. For example, Jack Swagger, who's over as hell, he's not over because of his wrestling. I mean, or what have you. It's because of his manager. For the most part, his manager is more over than he is. So you can say that for Rusev and Lana, but still, you know, that whole thing. You have all these other big stars. You have those stars who are just as over. There's not really guys over who are interesting. I mean, Sheamus has calmed down. Miz has calmed down. There's no one else out there. Roman Reigns is there. And, and instead of building people up, you know, they're going to have him lose to John Cena at Battleground, which I guarantee which was going to happen. And have him face against Brock Lesnar. The guy that just, had the guy who destroyed the streak of The Undertaker, was poorly booked, poorly written, and poorly booked match. The build of the match was piss poor. The match was piss poor. Finish was basically piss poor. The way the follow up has been piss poor. And overall, let's be honest, the handling, I'm going to say this right now, the handling of Brock Lesnar since he came back to the WWE has been piss poor. I mean, let's be honest, when was the last time he was really used correctly? Honestly, he's been used correctly at least 2 times against John Cena and CM Punk. Everything else has been piss poor and just terrible. And I mentioned another thing. What about that god awful year long feud with Triple H? Oh man, I actually wanted to see this match. It was a little bit of a dream match of mine, which I thought was going to happen back in 2002. I thought, oh man, Brock Lesnar versus Triple H would be awesome. But no, it was denied. It was denied. Because of reasons. You need to or what have you. You know, what else is to say? Those 3 matches were probably the worst of the, honestly, probably one of the worst Triple H matches I ever seen. And in the last match, oh, good lord. I mean, that cage match, that stupid cage match. I can't say anything positive about that match. Can someone give me one good reason, a positive thing about that match? I can't find it. It is probably one of the worst matches I've ever seen in a cage match. One of the worst cage matches from 2 primetime big WWE stars I've seen in such a long time. There is nothing, and I mean this, there is absolutely nothing about that. Oh Lord, what a match! It's just horrible. It's horrible, man. you know, and on top of all this stuff, and on top of all that, the WWE budget cut. I already talked about this a couple weeks ago, but now see this more confirmed. Is that a financial cutback with the production crew? Is that now the WWE, it's now official that they are used to provide buses for the crew Sunday to Monday on pay-per-view weeks, on Monday and Tuesday every week. It's official. They stopped it. Exactly. They have no buses. The production, exactly. They gave up. They stopped with the production. They cut the buses for production crew. A crew that they need. This stuff with the production about how they set up the rings. They set up the ring, the equipment, the lights, everything you know about Raw, whether you like it up at the production, that is it. The production of how putting Monday Night Raw, all of that stuff is right there. And they're treating them like this. Nope. No. They have to drive to the next city like everyone else, which often is a few hours. Instead of sleeping, they have to drive, get in at 4 a.m., set up with no sleep, or get a hotel and get up no. And then after all that, like, hey, they gotta set up with no sleep, or get a hotel, get almost no sleep. You know, yeah, that's set up there because yeah, that's nice. Have people who set up these dangerous equipment who are just half tired. Yeah, that's not a lawsuit waiting to happen. Or that's not a lawsuit because God forbid, Lord knows wrestling needs another black guy doing a live Monday Night Raw. You see one of those little like buildings falling like 15, 20 people, and bam, not only injured some wrestlers, also injured some damn fans, and bam, right on live television. Yeah, that'd be real good for the network, huh? That's real good stuff for the network. Or even better, they just all walk out and say, "Screw you, WWE. We ain't doing this to you. We're gonna head out. And you know what? We're not working on your show anymore. Bye. Yeah, hire cheap talent. Yeah, go ahead, WWE. Hire the cheap talent. You get a cheap ass show and and more production failures and such. You know, it's times like this I really respect Nintendo and Sony, those two Japanese companies and such. So when times get tough, they actually take from the CEO, the big guys in the company, take money out of their paycheck and say, yeah, it's all me. We cut the money to take the $50 billion and we take less money. We haven't done job. We're cutting our own paychecks. And all the executives are taking their money. I say, you know what? We screwed up. It's on us. The things didn't come out as well. That's the cut. We're gonna cut our own paychecks and such. We're not gonna cut nobody else here. We're going to be put. This is a true huge punishment. Instead, WWE they don't cut nobody. The only people they cut their paychecks and do all this type of stuff is people like the production crew and wrestlers that they don't even do anything with. Yeah, I mean, until they get tired of you. I mean, yeah, seriously. Because honestly, at this point, I would not be surprised if by 2000, the end of 2014, guys like Zack Ryder, Xavier Woods, hell, I'll put Cesaro on that list. Yes. The way Cesaro is falling down, I would not be surprised if he gets released by the end of this year, if not next year. Just to save on the bottom line for their complete failure of a WWE network. And none of the executives are getting any type of, they're not any type of comeuppance whatsoever. They keep getting they make their big paychecks. Yeah, keep doing that, Vince. And I know you're not here listening to me because I am a minuscule little guy on the podcast. Oh, not even a popular podcast. It's popular for my get my little but it's not the most popular wrestling video game podcast out there. But I'll guarantee you this: if somehow you're listening to this, listening to my voice right now, you better start doing so. You better start doing right by your people. You better start doing right with your production crew. Doing right by your wrestlers. Because if you don't, any bad things that happen, I am blaming you. It is not. Oh no, I'm not blaming Triple H, Stephanie. I'm not blaming Kevin Dunn. I'm not blaming any of them. I am putting the finger of blame at you because you could do something. Since you really care, Vince, why in the hell you don't take some money out? I know you lost $75 billion or something. Where you can't buy you another house. Hell, why don't you take a little more time? Fire some executives. Get your hands off the product. Hell, make some personal cuts for your paycheck. And give those people in the production crew a bus. Couple of buses. Hell, I know you got rid of CM Punk or what have you. Take CM Punk bus and give it to them. These are the people who make your show, Vince. These are the people, and you treat them like this. And you wonder why pro wrestling gets a negative connotations. You wonder why stuff like what I watch or anything else I get sneered at and looked down upon. It's shit like this. We'll be right back right after this. Dukect Lounge. Right back after this song from Mosi Remix. Yeah, on the Dukect Lounge. Man, huh. Woo! I haven't went that far in a long time. I had to get out there, man. I had to say that, man. Just had to, you know. Also, something a little bit of WWE news is that supposedly the NBC special that hears about WrestleMania and everything. Um, are going to be doing a 1 hour special of WrestleMania, and what's notable about the show and what's not on the show is Daniel Bryan. Because what will air will be Hulk Hogan, The Rock, and Steve Austin, The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, and John Cena, Bray Wyatt. Because trying to make a new star in Daniel Bryan is completely and utterly stupid. It just shows you. And so, well, they need to build up for SummerSlam. I'm like, are you saying they can't put something about Daniel Bryan in there? I mean, I'm sorry. It just screams that they're. You know what it does? It screams that WWE are just desperate for one thing, and that's nostalgia. And it is sad. It is just plain sad that to look at the names here. The only new guy there is Bray Wyatt. And hell, the reason why he's there is because of John Cena. It's just, you know, it's stuff like this, man. It just make you wonder why even, just be a fan of this company anymore. Got the guys, but sometimes, man, just I look at this and sometimes I just look and say, why am I following this product, man? It just gives me unneeded stress. It's too much unneeded stress in my life, man. I can't do that. And it's the state of this company. There is no really defense for it. And speaking of no defenses, um, defenses, Microsoft is shut down. That's the video games. I haven't talked about video games. Um, this has just happened yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. Is Microsoft is to shut down Xbox Entertainment Studios. Link will be in the description. It's here by an article by Nelly and Andreeva. Andreeva, I can't pronounce the person's name. I apologize. Uh, anyway, this it says right here. This morning's announcement by Microsoft's Chief Executive Officer Satya Nadella, name I can't pronounce, um, of one of the largest layoffs in tech history. A plan to cut 18,000 jobs triggered and exactly what's going on. And the reason why it is they're going to close the entertainment studios. You know, they're trying to do original movie content about games and all that type of stuff. So, but ladies and gentlemen, the main stuff, like for example, um, the shepherding, all that means they're going to close down. So all the new stuff they're planning to do, no, but the stuff that's already in production, already cooking, is still there. A documentary series about technology, signal to noise, and the Halo game franchise extensions, digital feature Halo Nightfall, and the Halo TV series, which will continue as planned with Microsoft 343 Industries and Abelin, Entertainment, aka where Steven Spielberg is. So, and also will be still NFL on Xbox, interactive sports content like that, and the app partnerships, with Netflix and all these other apps and everything will not be, you know, affected and such. This is amazing. They wanted to do something really big and try to do something, branch out and try to go on television and try to go here. But, you know, let's be honest, even though it sold a lot of units the last couple of days, I think Microsoft and some people are worried they got rushed by Xbox Ones. Honestly, there's not much of a really big feature. Nothing really changed. There's nothing really to me to go out and get these big consoles. Doing the PS4 and sales of both of those have been decreasing, and slowly it's been slowing down for the most part. And the reason why they have been slowing down is because, well, quite simply, there's no games for it, and there will not be any games until, well, probably uh, probably for the next couple of that date, but probably for the next couple of until probably 2015 or last E3. 2015 will be, well, um they weren't even going. It's going to be where the games release. I mean, that's when I'm probably going to get a Xbox One or PS4. Is I'm going to probably get one of those consoles around in 2015. And the funny thing is, the Xbox Entertainment Studios was always a big club, even at around E3 last month, when all the talk about entertainment options is with all these other games. It was a lot of games, games, games. They didn't mention anything about TV at all during the E3 press conference of Microsoft, which was should have been a bit more telling. And it was I think it was a lot of people. And the article goes on to say maybe it was because of the stumblings of the Xbox One, with the what happened to big debacle that was the Xbox One and the Connect, that sort of thing. It just, um, yeah, it was. I think it just really is interesting. It's interesting to see how this a huge part, a supposedly huge part for Microsoft, is now just cut. It's gone. And that's to me really does like, wow, maybe Microsoft, hopefully, maybe they can start being more consumer friendly, something more, because they have been doing a lot of steps to get back on track. But then again, at this point, the only new next gen console I'm getting is on the Wii U, because I just can't stand anything else right now. I just can't watch any. I just can't get a Xbox One and the PS4. In fact, they're still making games and such on the PS. They're still making games, the next gen games still on there, and without any like negative side effects. Used to when if you get it's the downgraded version for the PS2. Like for example, you can find like a live or like for a sports title. The main stuff was for like, oh gosh, you gotta get the extra real good edition was Xbox 360 or the PS3. PS2 and the Xbox or anything else, got the last decision, the rundown one. Now, you can get all the features and stuff. It's just a bump in graphics. So again, I have no real reason why to buy an Xbox One or PS4. That's the whole game here. Well, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, um, man, I'm still just blown by the WWE, man. I'm so off, man. But anyway, that's it for the Dukect Lounge live podcast. Hope you enjoyed my ramblings of Thor and the whole Marvel and the new Captain America. My just really bitching at the WWE for main parts of it, the entirety of that, and also the little bit of bad video games, people shedding their jobs and losing their jobs and such. 18,000, and that must really, really suck for those people who put in the time and work for them. Could have been something interesting, but instead it's lost and it's sad. Um, yeah. Anyway, this is Duke CT here. Peace and love. Remember, the Dukect Lounge is live every Friday night on TalkShoe.com. Hope you will join me there. If not, hey, recorded podcast will be up on YouTube, Screw Attack, Rise of the Critics, Zipcast, and That Guy with Glasses forums, and also my little blogspot page as well. Not blogspot, my blogger site as well. So, you will see that stuff here on, yeah, it'll be on my blogspot page as well. Um, yeah, I keep thinking of it, so I keep saying it's gonna be on Blip. I can't. I just it's been a couple months. You know, ah, you know, say it's gonna be on Blip. No, it's not. It's not gonna be on my Blip page because fuck you, Blip. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyway, Streak CT here. Peace and love. I will see y'all when I see y'all later.